about acquisitions, but also the latest numbers of the IT sector. Anyhow, I want to get started quickly so we can get to the nice part. This is why I'm inviting the Prime Minister of the Republic of Moldova with the welcoming remarks. Thank you for being here.
Good, it works, right. Look, I have a specific preference for this community because it grew so fast. It's somehow close to my heart and to the prospects that I see in the future for our country. And I'm very happy that the community grows and the business grows and the opportunities are growing. So everything is up in this field right now, and everything is uncertain because people don't know how AI will help boost our capabilities, how AI can augment our capabilities. Now, Moldova has a very good development platform. We call it the Moldova Innovation and Technology Park, and I am grateful to these young ladies that are managing the park, and yeah, applaud. Thank you, Marina, thank you. Look, what I meant to say is there are great people that is working in this community, and even though, how to say, this is all digital around and remote, but you feel the vibe, you feel the intensity of the interactions of so many people that are enthusiastic and are looking into the remote future. I was saying that we have this development platform, and beyond the fact that it's a flat 7% tax, what I think is very important is simplicity of doing business. I think this is one of the attractive points. And here I would like to greet and to thank Dumitru Alaiba, the Deputy Prime Minister for Economic Development and Digitalization, because he wants and he has this vision of this simplicity throughout the economy and throughout the interactions of the businesses and the government and the government with the citizens, and digital and simplicity all around. And he has also Natalia Berjan at the investment that is assembling the investment community for Moldova, and I think this great team can achieve a lot of results. I'm grateful also to the United States and European Union and to other close friends that helped us grow this talent, grow these opportunities, expose these talents to the foreign markets, and I think this is great. I see that, you know, one of the things is that Moldova is a safe zone, and indeed Moldova is a safe zone. We see it by the industry. Regardless of the fact that we are very next to the active phase of the war, the industry proved to not only to be resilient, but to actually grow. This is an additional, how to say, indicator of the fact that we have to go to the next stage and not only being stable, but to grow. We have to add to the talent pool that we already have in Moldova, and we have to have programs of education that keeps this talent pool agile as to see the next opportunities in the industry. I would conclude by thanking you everyone that is so energized and so oriented toward the future that you are dedicating time and efforts. Thank you.
Of course, we cannot talk about IT sector without the Deputy Prime Minister on Economic Development and Digitalization, because this is a ministry that guides us and is supporting the development of the IT sector overall. So please welcome on stage with the welcoming remarks.
Hi. Thank you, Marina, Mr. Prime Minister, dear colleagues. It's great to be back here today the second time, because this is our job this week to go back and forth and doing speeches. This is Moldova Business Week, and really thank you again for everyone who chipped in with their effort, with their initiative to to come with their own piece of the puzzle, and it's coming together really nice. Now, what I could say is that. I guess I'll start with saying yesterday we also had the data for the GDP growth from the second quarter and the first semester of this year. And well, while we see a slight recovery and acceleration, we've added 0.5% growth compared to the previous quarter. But what I could zoom in for the audience is the growth of the IT sector, which has been seeing a very steady 7-8% growth every year, year by year, and it's not a spike. It's a steady and very confident growth. And what we see is 6.9% for the first semester, and more importantly, the contribution of the IT sector, of the ICT, to the GDP is approaching 8%, 7.8%. This is really an indication that the sector is booming and that around 30,000 people can produce this much. Now, what we want is to see very similar tempo throughout the economy. And that means adding to productivity. That means applying those skills and that agility that is happening here and this amount of energy that we see in this community throughout the economy. Because the beauty is when digital solutions, IT solutions are spilling over through transportation, energy, education, healthcare, and many others, and we can do this. We really, as a government, decided to, let's say, bet on you guys to really have this confidence that something amazing is going to happen in this community. And that's why you have this freedom and this space for developing. That's why you have Moldova IT Park as a regime. And we're here to really support every beautiful initiative that there is, and thank you for our traditional partners, USA, the UK, and Sweden, and really we appreciate this support and this encouragement that we see, because it's really a ray of light. I know that we can do this 7-8% throughout the economy. We'll get there. But of course it's going to be the result of a lot of work, and it's not going to be overnight. What we see in sectors like this is that it's possible if you put in enough energy, if you put in enough work, if you educate yourself, if you adapt. It is possible, and that's what gives us really strength. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And of course, right after that, I'll invite all the organizers on the stage to have a group photo, but not before welcoming Ali Ezeatkir. I hope I'm pronouncing correctly the name. And on this note, we were discussing about spelling, Deputy Mission Director at USAID. And on this note, of course, we want to thank USAID for all the support, and Sweden and European Union and all our partners which are close to us. Please, welcome.
Well, I've had the honor of being able to see the Prime Minister Recean and Deputy Prime Minister give speeches. They're a tough act to follow, so I'm going to try not to be as formal as I was planning with my notes, but I'll at least refer to them for some reminders and some surprises. So, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, Director, it's lovely to be with you this evening. It's particularly unique for me to be here. I'm from San Jose, California. That's where I grew up. My parents were immigrants from Iran to California, and they had this mentality that you have to basically be a doctor or an engineer. That was always their mentality. But for them, the internet was not, this was not a real thing. This was not a real profession. And over time, I had a lot of interest in it. I remember installing my first sound card in my Intel 486 computer when I was 12 years old. and having it talk back to me and give me noise and sounds. I thought, my gosh, this is amazing. Can't believe the technology. And these were like those old MIDI files, if you remember. Any of the sort of old school programmers know what I'm talking about, when we had to struggle with the slow speeds to get through. And I started to fiddle with websites, but you know, in my own head, because of where I was as an immigrant to America and wanting stability, I never had the courage to take that into a career, even though I probably had more talent in that than I had in the law, which I ended up going into. And then before you knew it, you know, around me, down the street, literally 20 minutes from where I was, you had Adobe and you had Yahoo, and then Google was founded, and then Meta, and then you had Uber, and basically so many of the foundational companies to what everyone does today in the world in their daily lives were founded there. And they created, you know, basically what is one of the most prosperous places in the world in the Bay Area. And the 8% statistic was interesting to me because I was recently looking at some statistics and remarked that at a time in the late 90s and early 2000s when the US was in a recession, or when it had 0.5% growth, that the tech sector was consistently growing at around 8 to 10%. So in that sense, with the wine that you have, like we have just across the bay, and the technology, all you need is a few actors and actresses, and you can be the California of this part of the world. You just need some Hollywood there. So, you know, we're really proud as USA to be a core strategic partner of this park since its inception, and our continuing collaboration with you is one of our, you know, proudest activities that we do at USAID. And to be here at the Summit Up meeting is particularly unique for us because, you know, we've gotten to see a lot of this sector grow from the ground up, and it's been really exciting to see for my colleagues. And having discussions with some of my staff and some of the people who came through here, this is really one of the, you know, I think one of the industries that's going to carry Moldova into prosperity. That's our hope. So just to, you know, let you guys know a little bit about what we've done in detail. In 2023, the turnover of the park reached an impressive $740 million here, just at this IT park. And sales revenue has tripled over the past 5 years. And the resident base is now over 2,000 residents, which is quite incredible for such a short period of time. And I think the word about Moldova and IT is getting out. It's beginning to be known in the greater region. MITP received well-deserved coverage and recognition from Forbes, from AP, and MITP produced IT Investment Guide for Moldova, set signals to investors that Moldova is safe, prosperous, this is a place where you can depend on the IT products that are here, and we're really proud of that, and we're looking forward to seeing it through. We're also really excited to support the government with the development of the Deep Technology Park. That will expand these IT solutions into areas like health tech and R&D, and foster a real knowledge-based economy, a future economy, and base it here in Moldova. So we all know the surge in startups that have been here in Moldova. And you know what I think the key is that you're on the cutting edge of what's coming next. I was just outside and being introduced to a couple of apps that they're being used already. Some of our colleagues here in this park are showcasing their software in the place that where I grew up, in San Francisco and in the Silicon Valley. So these solutions are garnering interest in the capital and the home of these things. So that should be an inspiration to everybody. And I think many of you are established entrepreneurs, but this message needs to be carried back to some of your budding entrepreneurs, because really it's it's not the folks who are like me who are going to forge change for Moldova. It's the next generation who really is going to be able to adapt to the technology that's coming down the line with AI and the like, and that will really understand it. So just to transmit that message that Moldovan products are everywhere now. Moldovan IT solutions are all over the place. And I actually even learned that there are Moldovan solutions that are on the San Francisco trolley trains. Did anybody know that? So, who knew? So that's quite impressive. So I'll end by noting that the first 300 graduates of the Future Professions program, which is a suite of high-tech degree programs at Moldovan universities that were designed with support from us and in partnership with the government of Moldova, will graduate next year in 2025. And that's 300 young professionals that are ready to make their mark here in Moldova and join the dynamic and growing digital ecosystem that's fostered here at MITP. So this is just the beginning. The future of Moldova's industry depends on the collective will of every entrepreneur, student, and innovator. I feel the energy of the early Silicon Valley here. In addition to, the lovely wine, I think that, there's real promise in the IT industry, and that energy is definitely transmitted here. So thank you as well to our partners at the ministry, and also the Swedes and the United Kingdom as well for your partnership with us. And we look forward at USIT to work with MITP to grow the industry and build the next generation of IT leaders. So mulțumesc, and have a lovely evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for all the support after the speech. We should have another presentation on how to compare Moldova to Silicon Valley and what's next, what's left there. I would like to invite all the organizers on the stage, as well as the panelists, including Invest Moldova, so we can take a group photo before anyone leaves, and then we will move to the presentation. So please, welcome on the stage.
Yeah, as people go there, I would like to remind everyone that we have made a promise, and we are looking to realize it, is that starting next year, the government will make available the 5 million budget for the startups. And we're looking forward for the setup, but also for the contribution that the industry said that,
I love that.
For each euro that is invested by the government, the private sector and the friends will come. Now, one more thing, Ali. We are having a digital Hollywood here. We agreed with Erin McKee that we are using already the California view.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you for the passions, especially for those who are watching us online. In between, I just wanted to mention that we have a couple of residents in the hall that are actually presenting their products, and this is becoming a tradition for a Summit Up. So if you are one of the residents of MITP, please let us know if you'd like to be presented, and of course, welcome to the ones which are already here. And of course, we are going to the presentation. I know that there are going to be people who are going to take pictures of all the slides that we're presenting today. So you can prepare your phones, or we can just send you the presentation afterwards. It's your choice. Just wanted to mention that today, Moldova Innovation Technology Park has 2,010 residents. This is a crazy number, taking into account that when the park was created, everyone thought we would expect only around 400 companies. I would still not focus that much on the growth of the number of residents, but to focus on the fact that we have quite a big growth this year. And of course, the growth of this year is also because of two types of activities that were included into the IT Parks law, which is related to call centers, dispatching, and outstaffing of people. I wanted more to focus on this slide, because here you can see the number of newly created companies, and we want to call it the impact of MITP, specifically because 1,600 companies, actually a bit more, were created since 2018. So all 80% of the residents of MITP are actually companies that were created after its appearance. We see market growth of 2 times, which is impressive in terms of numbers, but not only in terms of number of companies, but also in terms of revenue, and not only. Okay. This slide is specifically interested because out of all the newly created companies, we have 178 of companies with foreign capital since 2018. And I want to stress out a bit on this slide because you can see the countries with the biggest number of entities in MITP. Romania just renounced to their fiscal incentives, and we see a growth on our screen. Just saying, the government is still here, that the MITP has to stay, and this is why we have the state guarantee. Next is, of course, Ukraine, and we see a growth of number of companies that come from Ukraine and Russia as well, of course, because of the conflict. A big number from USA, Germany, Turkey, and Great Britain. So these are the top 7 countries that came with new businesses in Moldova since 2018. But here you'll see how many were created in terms of like timeline. And of course, as I mentioned, Romania, I mentioned about the conflict in the region. We can actually see the impact also in terms of companies that were created. However, Great Britain seems to be, or the companies that are coming from Great Britain seem to be the one which generate the biggest revenue, followed by USA, Germany, Malta, Netherlands, Romania, and Cyprus. So, we don't have the final mark on the estimate. We only have the estimate for this year, but we see that the income expansion will reach probably 800 million euros, which is a figure that even a lot of people in the sector didn't expect. It's quite bigger than the 2023. And based on the figures that we have until now, we can actually see that even though there is a tech crisis going on globally, we have a conflict nearby, 62% of the residents increased their revenue compared to 2022 and in 2023. And also, you remember the slides about the companies with foreign capital. 42% of the whole turnover of MITP is generated by foreign capital companies, or 15% of the residents generate 42% of the total revenue. Of course, it boosts the national economy. We see a growth of 3 times compared to 2015, and it's reaching 5.5% of the contribution to the GDP, out of which 4.2 are included in MITP. Approximately 80% of the total IT sector is included or are residents of the IT park. I hope this will go off the screen, but if not, at least you can see the figures. Yes. So let's look in the expert benchmarking in the region. And this is quite an important slide. Our team was researching a bit. And I know it might be looking confusing, but look at the figure on the top of the top of the figures, because Moldova grew 10 times. If to compare with Ukraine, Romania, or even Estonia that we are trying to look up to, the export benchmarking for Estonia grew only 8 times. In Moldova, it was 10 times. In Ukraine, 4 times. In Romania, 4 times. So this is impressive in terms of figures, because we, being a small country, cannot compare ourselves to all the other countries listed here. But the growth that the tech industry is proving is the highest in the region. Here is an important slide in terms of taxes paid by the residents to the state budget. Why I'm saying it's important, because when the regime of the IT park was being discussed, is that at one point companies would pay less taxes. We can see that the taxes multiply every year, and year by year we see a growth. Let's see until when it's still going to grow. And in 2023, we still saw quite a big growth of the taxes, the amount of taxes that the residents are paying. We see a growth of students as well. The blue are representing the students at the university level, and the yellow one at the college level. It's also due to the contribution of the private sector. We see a lot of internships, or more and more internships, and we see a lot of support from various community players that support the IT industry, and specifically the education in IT, including requalifications. So we would like to say that MITP is about technology innovators, and today there are 22,000 people which are employed by all MITP residents. 90% are IT specialists, the 10% which is left is administrative staff, and continuously the residents of MITP are increasing their number of employees. At least we see the difference between 2022 and 2023 of 33%. We're also a cross-border technology innovator, and these are the data based on IT visa, the growth of people which, or the number of people which come from outside Moldova to work for Moldovan IT companies. We also see that what's happening in the region definitely impacts the number of specialists that have an interest to come to Moldova. And we reached almost 500 IT specialists that obtained an IT visa since the program has started in 2018. The tech industry pay scales. And I know here that some of the companies like, we should not mention that much about salaries because it's growing too much or it's growing too fast. Well, we are proud that the IT sector is paying the best salaries in Moldovan industries. And the average salary today is 2,280 euros. And besides that, companies are giving other benefits for employees in amount of approximately 1,000 euros. When we talk about benefits, we talk about private medical insurance, we talk about facilities, we talk about technologies that are given to the employees, certifications, covering of expenses for education, and so on and so forth. Of course, the remuneration costs remain the main cost overall for all MITP residents. Well, actually, it's 81%. Therefore, salaries are the biggest burden for the IT industry. And we're moving slowly to a phenomena that we started to see on the market, and we see it as a good phenomena because more and more merger and acquisitions happen on the market. These are the ones that we found publicly. I know that there are more. And if you cannot find yourself here, probably you are somewhere and you might be here during our next sessions. Why mergers and acquisitions are good for the market? This means that Moldovan IT market is being known outside Moldova, and that we moved to a stage where foreign investors are not only interested in just opening a company, but growing together or finding a partner that they can grow with. This being said, I'm inviting a panel, and actually the moderator of our panel, Vadim Echim, who will take care of a common panel with a couple of companies that were acquired a company during the last period of time. And they have really interesting insights that we would love for them to share. Vadim, please welcome on stage.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to what I'm sure will be an insightful and engaging discussion on global acquisition success stories. I'm delighted to moderate this session where we will explore the stories of 3 local companies or companies with significant, or foreign companies with significant local presence that navigated these complex waters. All of you know that all the disruptive technologies and AI and other buzzwords, I will not come up with them, all of them here, are demanding or demand digital transformation activities and efforts by a lot of companies, business model reinvention, and companies around the world are looking for ways to quickly acquire capabilities, new capabilities, to scale their operations, to enhance their innovation abilities. And M&A activities offer a lot of powerful opportunities, but we know there are a lot of specific challenges here. We know that during the pandemic and after the pandemic, the M&A activities have seen a surge. And we could see that it has impacted Moldova as well. So as we have just seen, there are a lot of significant global acquisitions. This is telling about our industry, the maturity of our industry, and the attractiveness of our market. So we are fortunate to have here with us 3 representatives of senior leadership of 3 companies that got acquired between 2001 and 2003. These are very unique stories. And we also are fortunate to have them come from various functions. So it spans through general management, technology, HR, business development, which will give us a lot of various aspects, or the possibility to look at a lot of aspects and look at this through various perspectives. So this is a very complex topic. So I will invite now our panelists, and we will try to keep a fast pace so that we cover as many questions as possible. I have some numbers here. So let's invite to our stage Vasile Putina, the CTO at Pentalog, acquired by Globant in 2023. Currently also, Vasile serves as the VP of Technology at Globant. Some numbers about Pentalog. So Pentalog is a mid-sized company with around 1,300 employees, with presence across France, Moldova, Romania, Vietnam, Mexico, and the US. And Globant, I think everyone here knows, or the majority know, is a public company, is a global multinational, present in 25 countries across 5 continents and employing above 30,000 people. Let's invite to the stage, on the stage, Cristina Matciac, the HR business partner and site manager at Cegeka. Cegeka acquired DAS Solutions, a local Moldovan company, in 2021 as part of their effort to extend their operations in Moldova. DAS Solutions was a small company, and Cegeka is a mid-size, I'd say a large company with employing over 6,000 employees. Welcome, Cristina. Mihai. Mihai Cernei is the general manager for Eastern Europe and CTO at Amdaris, which was acquired by Insight Enterprises in 2023. Amdaris is one of those companies that have the origin in Moldova. They started in 2009, and they grew and extended internationally to operate across multiple countries and employing around 800 people. And Insight Enterprises is a huge US public company employing over 1,500 people. So let's start our conversation by setting the stage and sharing a bit, very briefly, the background of your companies prior to the acquisition. What was the focus of your companies, and why? What was the motivation? What were the reasons behind your companies looking for a partnership or for being acquired? Vasile, can you start, please?
Hello, and thanks for inviting us. So yeah, probably as many of you here, you know that after the pandemic and everything, everyone was looking for for scaling and scaling quick, right? And we are a bit in the same situation. So we kind of, decided to change the ICP. So until now, until the 2023, we were mostly focused on grow up and startup companies, and it worked quite fine. But to scale quickly, we decided to change the ICP. So we decided to go more towards the enterprise companies, and we understood well that it comes with more challenges. At the same time, we decided to scale quicker on the US market, right? Pentalog was present in Europe, was present in US as well, but we decided to go much quicker, right? And to do it, we decided to find a partner which is already well established in US, so that we could find good ways of accelerating on both parts. Okay? Make sense?
Thank you. Yeah. So it's basically a horizontal integration. You were using it to expand markets and I believe technology capabilities, but we'll talk about this later.
The main guiding idea, so to expand the market.
Thank you. Cristina, what about Cegeka? Why the acquisition?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Vadim. So 3 years ago, Cegeka expanded its operations here in Moldova by opening a new office. And the core focus actually was to maintain the high quality services here on the consulting services and the IT solutions that covers infrastructure, software development, data, cloud, and many others. While we are promoting the organic growth, that's why we opened our small office with only 3 people. Then we grow up organically by the middle of the year with 15 people. For us, it came up to acquire a small IT company, so we embraced this opportunity. And the scope or the objective mostly was to boost our visibility on the market and also to make a good impact on potential clients and employees. This is our short story.
Thank you. Thank you, Cristina. Mihai, I would like you to answer this question, but also let's add the perspective of the acquiring company. What were the factors that made your company an attractive acquisition target?
Well, actually, it's a very interesting story. Amdaris in 2022 actually went on the market looking for a PE investment, and we didn't receive the offers that we were expected. The market was wrong at that point in time already, and very quickly, closer to us deciding to pull out of the process, Insight appeared. And we started moving very fast with Insight compared with other PE houses. And the main reason behind that was twofold. One of them was Amdaris in Europe was very aligned, the acquisition of Amdaris, with the global strategy to become pretty much a leading solution integrator. And Amdaris was providing the capabilities and services that Insight was lacking in Europe. Another reason was that we were very complementary geographically, having most of our talent in Eastern Europe, which Insight had 0. And as well, although some might consider that non-important, but very aligned in identical company culture and values. That played another role, mostly for Insight. So yeah, those were 3 key factors for Insight deciding to acquire Amdaris. And that's why it made it so smooth to go through the acquisition process. There was a mutual interest.
Thank you. I think you are getting into the challenges of the post-acquisition integration. Let's move to that one then. So fast forward through all the technicalities of matchmaking, due diligence, deal signing. The day comes, all employees are invited to an ad hoc all-hands meeting. The big news is being delivered. At the same time, the press release go public. Everyone knows the big change is here. So, and this is the starting point of serious, challenging phase, which is the post-acquisition integration. So let's talk about that. Vasile, what do you, in your experience, what were the main challenges in that phase?
Yeah, probably as many managers here, you know that the best way of facing challenges is to anticipate them. And that was kind of the starting point when we, from our side, from the Pentalog side, we tried to find a good partner with the same DNA as ours. And they probably did the same, Globant. And that's kind of the way which is helping us until now when we face different kind of operational challenges. Of course, the organizational structure is different. And I think that part was the one to be learned like very quickly, because as we were like 1,500 people or so, we were used to manage and to govern the overall company quite centralized. At least from the technology standpoint, it's what it worked and what worked fine. Now with Globant, everything is decentralized. Of course, we have objectives which are spread and so on, but at the day-by-day activity, every region is autonomous. And that changed almost everything. So every region is behaving like a startup, like a company, driving their way of working and managing the sales, the delivery, and so on. So that's the biggest change in our mind. And in fact, it's a challenge, but at the same time, it's something we always prepared to. So we invested in agility for years, from personnel to business agility. We invested in data and data platform, which helped us a lot to align things. So every challenge is coming with opportunities. Here we are.
Thank you. Vasile, you didn't mention specifically the cultural aspect of this thing, but I think Cristina is best suited to answer this as the HR business partner. So what was the internal change? What was the impact on the culture? What were the steps that you have taken to make this transition as smooth as possible?
Yes, the change was a big one, let's say like that. And our primary focus went to integrate the new team into the current organizational structure. So this means that we had to standardize processes, we have to align the workflows, we had to ensure that our employees understood and accepted this kind of new company's procedures. So how we did that? First of all, we organized several workshops and meetings, yeah, and made sure that the knowledge transfer was done in a good way. On the other hand, we saw some differences in cultures and work styles. So to harmonize these, let's say, differences, we organized different kind of activities like team buildings, hangout parties, CSR activities, and this gave them opportunity to collaborate and to get to know each other in a better way. Also to keep them engaged, we encouraged a transparent communication. Yeah, we were open to send them transparent messages via our town halls, Q&A sessions, and encourage them to come with feedback via different kind of channels, with anonymous feedback or direct feedback, yeah, where they were really encouraged to send their ideas and suggestions.
Yes, thank you. Yes, transparency and communication and the open feedback are critical for any change management programs. So were you successful in it?
Yes, I can say yes.
That's great.
I can confirm it.
Now let's talk about our clients, because this is the news for them too. Mihai, what was the reaction of your clients? Did anything change in terms of client relationships, expectations? How did you manage that?
Before the deal was announced, actually, we leaned heavily into inside experience of acquisition. Obviously, Amdaris didn't have any of that. And part of that knowledge was to have a very clear and defined communication strategy with all the stakeholders, and that would include obviously the clients, but also employees, vendors and partners that we have in the countries that we operate in. So pretty much we just executed a well-orchestrated communication strategy that was clear before the deal went off, and we made sure that we have all our account managers available for any questions and answers. Some of our key clients actually knew about the deal, I would say a day before, so quite aligned. How that affected it eventually, either it was neutral, because in reality in Europe we provide services complementary to inside other services, digital services, but also we found out that some of our clients are also inside clients. And that was received in a more positive note, because it gives a better stability and also a better account management in place now with 2 account managers. So in majority of cases it was a positive experience for our clients, or a neutral one.
Okay, so you were lucky not to get into conflicts, non-compete agreements and so on. Yeah, it was all smooth for you.
We couldn't, as simple as that.
Okay, let's get back to the internal stakeholders, which are the employees, and again, Cristina. Can you tell us a bit about what are the benefits and advantages to the talent inside your company in terms of career development, professional growth? Did anything change for you in terms of talent acquisition and retention?
Not really for our current employees that we've already had, but with this acquisition, let's say like that, that we have strengthened our employer brand. This was demonstrated by our commitment to growth and innovation. In the same time, we positioned ourselves as a more trustworthy and attractive employer on the market. So we also observed some improvement in the recruitment process. In the same time, our new employees that came from the acquisition, they could benefit from different kind of trainings, certificates that were covered by the company, also coaching and mentorship programs. So we could really see a boost in their motivation and in their career development. And as a result, we could observe a lower attrition rate, a higher retention rate. But the most impressive thing was that during that year, we achieved a number of 40% of the referral rate. So this demonstrated that our employees were really engaged. They were recommended their friends, ex-colleagues, and yeah, maybe relatives.
You definitely do things the right way, so it all goes in a positive way, positive direction. An acquisition, we know, normally, obviously, is looking for some strategic and operational benefits and acquisition advantages. And for an IT company, the ability to innovate is very important. So Mihai, can you tell us about the impact on the ability to innovate for your company? Did you feel a boost or anything?
Well, yes, we were innovating before, just to make it clear. It's just with inside the access to additional resources, and by that I mean maybe platforms, hardware, allowed us to run some R&D and accelerators, mostly in the space of data, which we didn't have that much experience, so we had to catch up very quickly, and artificial intelligence, and primarily generative AI, but generic artificial intelligence as well. So we are running some accelerators, building some accelerators right now in our, we call it talent pool, as well as developing actually new capabilities in the augmented reality and virtual reality. So all that thanks to access to inside partners like Meta, Microsoft, Google, which enabled us to deliver those.
So that was about innovation, about R&D. What about technology, new technology capabilities? Did you end up with having new service offerings, entering new industries, seeing a market expansion or a client base expansion, anything like that?
Well, yes. So first of all, about the service offerings, yes, we strengthened our service offering in data. It became much more mature because we leveraged the data offerings from inside. Now Amdaris is becoming a practice of software development, which we were famous for before, but also data and AI within inside, as well as a generative AI offerings using our accelerators with Microsoft and Google. So that is what we offer new to our existing client base and new prospects. But also, Inside has around 34,000 clients in Europe alone. And right now, as I speak, slightly less than our sales pipeline, it's leveraging Inside existing client base. And yeah, we expect at least next year quite a significant growth in existing client base of Inside.
That's great. Thank you, Mihai. Vasile, what about Pentalog as part of Globant? Did it help you strengthen your position in the market? And maybe you can come up with a specific example or two of some significant projects, joint projects that you worked on after the acquisition.
Yeah, okay. So in fact, we at Pentalog, we were deciding, strategically not to spread our energy in all the direction. That's why we became very good at creating digital product. And we decided not to invest too much in creating any kind of integration services like integrating enterprise solutions. We also decided strategically not to invest much in specializing in a specific business domain. Because at our size, it was kind of spreading the energy without having great benefits. Now with Globant, we have discovered that at the Globant size, it made sense to do it. So that's why now with Globant, we have their capabilities, very strong ones on the AI part. So they are experts in AI for more than 10 years now. So Globant is very good at gaming, doing a lot of gaming solutions, and for big names, probably I don't really have to provide names, but whatever we think, it's probably we are collaborating with them, and the same in many other domains. So we could say the same for everything related to different kind of main business domains, saying healthcare, banking, gaming in general, but also sports, you see? And now we have discovered that some of our big clients were interested in discussing with us more strategically, not just at the level of developing digital products, but also integrating those digital products overall in their ecosystem with SAP, Salesforce, etc. Adding, gaming experience to their digital product. That's really gold, you see? And there are many very good discussions in this direction. So leveraging the existing trust and collaboration, we are adding more and more layers, and we are now able to support our clients at the more strategic level and at the more systemic level, you see? And that's also kind of helping us to better compete with big names in the service domain. It's a huge competition here. And when you let too many doors open, you probably lose even the existing business. So now it's not anymore the case. We are able to cover it from end to end.
Interesting. Any names, any big brands that you can disclose here, just in case?
Yeah, so in fact, from very beginning of our integration strategy, we are looking for quick wins, which makes sense. And from very beginning, we started to position ourselves together on Disney, on FIFA, on Google, for example. So Google is a strategic partner for Globant for many, many years now. So that's also allowing our people to touch different kind of projects, to have also many perspectives in the field.
That's impressive. And by the way, I believe this is public information, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we talk about M&As, there is this concept of synergies. Everyone is looking to generate those synergies. And there are a lot of attempts to measure those synergies. And the most straightforward ways would be to measure them on the top level or bottom level or both. Mihai, maybe you can tell us how successful you were at creating those synergies and measuring them.
Yeah, well, I'll start with the bottom line, so cost savings. Again, Insight is the biggest Microsoft partner in Europe. I think Microsoft delivers, I might be wrong, but around 10% of their business through Insight in Europe alone. And which means access to a very cost-efficient license and also to different tiers of software that Microsoft offers through their suite. And I'm talking about, as an example, we actually adopted Copilot for Office 365 before it was released. That kind of access is valuable. Obviously, that's a cost saving for us because those costs are now being covered by the global Insight. In terms of top line, yeah, again, it's pretty much the same. Again, leaning into the client base of Insight and starting now delivering more interesting service offerings, and VR, it's a good example of that in partnership with Insight and Meta, because they are moving into the corporate world, not only the consumer world. So yes, leveraging that and also acquiring some of existing Insight capabilities again in data and AI helped us to generate more business.
That's interesting. Anyone wants to share anything about the synergy? I cannot leave it with just one response. It's a word I love so much. So,
yeah, in fact, I think that's kind of the first topic we're addressing when starting the integration. And first synergy we're looking for was, of course, at the business level. We quickly checked the important and the biggest clients on both sides and to see what kind of capabilities were not yet covered until the acquisition is available now. And of course, that brings us some new opportunities. But we also quickly looked for synergies at the company and process level to see what worked well in one company and what can be deployed at the global scale. And here we found, of course, some good practices in Pentalog with regards to engineering and to skills governance. Find a lot of good practices in managing scaled projects in Globant. So we quickly found synergies at that level as well.
That's great. While we are here, maybe you can tell us a bit about how the post-acquisition program was managed. Did you have a dedicated team for that? Did you have the executive sponsorship? Did you come up with some specific timelines that you want to hit?
Yeah, it's quite a nice and deep question at the same time. So as Pentalog, we also had some experience in acquiring companies, but taking into account our size, having a dedicated M&A team and afterwards a dedicated integration team was not really an option, which is not the case here with Globant. So as Globant is acquiring many companies and they managed to capitalize all this knowledge, and of course Globant managed to have and to put in place one team which is managing end-to-end integration process, and at the same time keeping the connection with the acquired company. So the leadership team from Pentalog was also involved in the integration process to make sure we don't lose what's working fine in Pentalog, and at the same time we support with the change management. So of course we had a roadmap. The roadmap was communicated and on a regular basis, so people were provided with visibility on the progress, and as usual, more communication is needed. So that's kind of key factor for making this integration smooth.
Okay, so that's great when you are acquired by a mature company with well processes and a good practice of integrating other companies. It's less painful, and you can actually create those synergies. Okay, now let's touch upon the long-term perspective, like looking forward. Cristina, can you tell us whether there was a change to the long-term strategy and long-term objectives after this acquisition?
Yes, of course. So due to the fact that we've started here in the pandemic, so we wanted to start slow but steady, let's say like that. But nobody know our name on the market. I will be honest here. Nobody heard about Cegeka, maybe in Romania. On the group level, we are really big. We are around 9,000 employees, and we are operating in more than 12 countries. Yeah, with this acquisition, we really had immediate access to the market, and this helped us to make a good expansion on our efforts. And of course, we diversified our clients' database projects. We had, with this acquisition, of course, new projects. And the most important thing is that we grow our team from 15 employees that we hired them organically to 40 plus. And this gave us opportunity also to have our own office, branded new office, Cegeka. So yeah, I can say that the business objectives were achieved, and also the growth strategy.
That's interesting, thank you. I actually would like to hear on this question from you, gentlemen, too. So, any changes to, of course, I think there is a change to the long-term view after you've been acquired, long-term strategy. And can you add here, what is the most exciting opportunity for the company that comes with that? Mihai, maybe you can start.
Yeah, so again, the long-term strategy for Amdaris, as we are not integrated, actually, we are mostly aligned ourselves at the financial level and at systems level, but again, aligned, we don't even have inside accounts, just to mention. The opportunity here is pretty much to enhance our capabilities. And if I talk about, now I have two hats, general manager and CTO. So as a CTO, obviously I want to build more technical capabilities, not only in Eastern Europe, but in Europe alone. But as a Eastern Europe Amdaris platform to start delivering our amazing talent, so collaboration with universities in other countries that Insight operates, and I can say France, Italy, Spain, DACH countries, Netherlands, Sweden, pretty much the entire Western Europe, which actually puts a more emphasis on building talent with that particular language knowledge and cultural alignment, because that's one of the challenges operating in Europe versus USA, for example. Every country has a different language and a culture. That's a challenge that you have to manage. So providing more talent and opportunities for the Eastern Europe and Moldova in particular, we are the biggest in Moldova actually, for other practices in Insight. yeah, so those are the opportunities that I see.
Thank you. Vasile, any exciting opportunities in the future for your company after the acquisition?
Yeah, in fact, it's not really in the future, it's for today even, because we now see projects as big as we couldn't imagine before, and we are already working on. And also take into account the big ambition of Globant. We are aiming to become the first IT company, so now we are recognized as being the 5th one, the fastest growing. So take into account this, it's kind of amazing and challenging at the same time. To do it, of course, we have to continue our extension in Europe, to do it also in Asia and Pacific. We have quite nice clients here, and more are now in discussion, so probably you'll see soon news about it. So that's really coming with a lot of cultural challenges, to integrate people from everywhere, to talk with businesses from everywhere, and also to be part of huge projects. That's really, really nice and amazing.
The future looks bright for all of you. That's great. While we are here, so I just want to come up with a new question. I just realized, I mean, you guys go through this experience, but at the same time, you see the news of so many other companies being acquired in Moldova. I mean, the landscape in Moldova changes. What do you think about the future of the industry and of the market, and how that would impact your company with all these M&A activities starting and ramping up and going on here in Moldova? That's
a nice and challenging question. And in fact, as we are a Globant company, the question is not really applicable for me, because our challenges are not at the Moldova level. And of course, take into account the competition. And we can think also about a kind of internal competition. On the HR market, we have a real challenge here to be in a good pace with the global competition, because we should be fair. There are a lot of good talents everywhere. We are also quite good and doing good progress, but it's ongoing competition. So from one side, of course, we are investing in growing up our business and making our clients happy. And at the same time, we do our best to take care of our talents and of their journey. And in this journey, they should feel safe. And that's a bit, the challenge and I wouldn't say the trade-off, but a balance to be found.
I can add on that. I personally see competition in Moldova. I'm going to speak only about Moldova. I'm born in Moldova. And I see the competition, although in the short term it can be frustrating for companies to compete for the same talent, and the cost base increases because of that as salaries grow. But you saw from the earlier presentation, the IT park, it's boosting. I saw an exponential growth, and I see strategically the more IT companies are in Moldova, the better for Moldova, because that will generate also demand for the talent, which means investment and partnership with universities and colleges, and opportunities for actually an amazing talent, amazing people we have in Moldova, to go into an industry where at least the salaries at the European level, and which means also investment back in Moldova, because those people spend their money most of the time in Moldova. And I see that just as a positive outcome overall for Moldova as a country.
Great. So this is a good way to up our game here, right? And this is what we are successfully doing. Now let's take a reflective view on your past experience, and we risk here to be repetitive, but maybe you can come up with 1 to 3 biggest advantages or benefits that came from this acquisition. Maybe we can start with you, Cristina.
Yes, of course. With the acquisition, always beside the challenges are advantages, yes. So for us, what I can say that with acquiring this company, first of all, we had an ability to attract and retain talents. This really boosted our visibility on the market. In the same time, we've opened new opportunities for people who joined our company. And on the other hand, this contributed to our operational efficiency. We enlarged our relationship with many more clients. And also, we have increased our employer branding. And yeah, these are the main advantages that we were focusing on, and we saw that really worked.
Thank you. Mihai, maybe you can add something from your experience. If you have anything new, you can say as she said, and we'll go to Vasile.
Well, well, again, we have a different experience of acquisition. We are quite fortunate, maybe fortunate, maybe not, to be not that severely affected. One of the benefits of that I found for, especially in this economical challenging times, that acquisition actually managed to add a lot of job security to all our employees. So at least that was perceived. I don't know if by entire company, but by me it was perceived. Sleeping better at night, not looking at the sales pipeline every morning to see where is the next project because we have too many people on bench, for example. Yeah, and then that's what I see as a benefit.
Yeah, a bigger sales pipeline and more people to look at it is always works well for good sleep. Vasile, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, maybe just a few ideas. So, from the client perspective, now we are able to kind of better serve them, to touch all the systemic levels. For the employees, now they have new journeys to choose from. So they have also business specialties, they have AI, they have gaming, which is kind of new for them. And I think it's good also for the management of the company as well to feel a new culture, a new way of working, and that's kind of a reset as well, in a good sense.
Great, yeah. Sounds fantastic. Now let's share some advice with other IT companies that are contemplating being acquired based on your experience. Do you have any advice to share now?
That's the easy part, you know. So to provide advice, that's quite easy. So in fact, beside our experience as being acquired and our experience of acquiring company, we are doing a lot of due diligences for other investment funds to support them to acquire companies, at least 50 due diligences per year. So, and it seems kind of obvious, but not always. It's important to clearly define the goal for the company. So by default, people are assuming stuff, but it's better to define it explicitly. Is it really about, you know, reaching new markets? Is it more about the capital to support the scale? Is it more an HR topic? All of them could make sense, but it should be clear. That would also guide the discussion with the partner, because at the end, everyone will seek for complementarity, right? And also, I think staying pragmatic in all this equation always help. So making sure everything is prepared from the, you know, figure point of view, it's quite clear from the process, way of working, so that you can better and easily explain how you operate. Make sure you also get the right support from people with experience in such operations. doesn't make sense to reinvent everything. And I would really go in this direction, staying pragmatic, using the capitalized know-how.
Great, thank you. Any more advice?
I can comment actually. It's a very good point, but if a business, regardless of does it have an exit strategy now or eventually will have or will never have, they are successful because they focus on some areas that they actually start generating value for their clients if it's a service company. And focusing on developing that value and improving it rather than looking for an acquisition can actually make things simpler, because eventually the value is going to be needed by other companies that are looking in this space. And if you present a great value, be that a client share, market penetration, brand power, or talent, or geographical distribution, or even your ways of working, which is pretty much a synergy between people, processes, and tools that you use. If those are valuable for the acquirer, that actually makes the acquisition much smoother. Besides, obviously, getting some consultancy from outside, because that's valuable as well.
Yeah, nice point.
Thank you. Cristina, any last piece of advice?
Yeah, it depends a lot. Our case was a bit different, as I've presented, but it depends, of course, on the goal of the company that is acquired. So yeah, you have to have a well-defined processes. You have to have a well-defined roadmap in order to make this integration a smoother one. So in our case, yeah, we have some, we acquired several companies in around the world, let's say like that. And yeah, we had already this in place. So it wasn't a big challenge for us.
Thank you. So it looks like we've almost used up all of our time. Questions? Sorry. We are not taking questions here, but what I wanted to say that everyone here will stay here for the social networking event, and we can. Yeah, yeah, Andrei, for you, of course. Yeah, only for you. That's an exception. No, I think if we have some extra time. You are the
no, maybe just quick.
You
answer or yes or no. Maybe. Do you know? I'm still waiting till 7 p.m. Just to hear one thing. Of course, thank you very much. It was great stories about your companies. And we're talking about merchant acquisition. We're talking about money. What's about how much money did you get from the deal? Where is your owners? Are already billionaires and we're not there?
I can answer in Amdaris' case. The owners are still with the Amdaris, working for inside, obviously. The challenge for them was mostly cultural shift, becoming business owners, and now they're employees. Not like everybody else, but employees. That was a challenge. Obviously, being a business owner, it means you have very flexible mindset. They overcome it quite easily. I'm not sure it's a public information how much Inside paid for Amdaris, but it was enough for business owners to not need to work in Inside anymore. So the cultural alignment actually helped there.
Oh, great, because I see here young startuppers and they want to be inspired by your story. Not just story, but in numbers.
Of course, there
Maybe
is money.
In terms of EBITDA, how much, 5, 10, how many X you get? Thank you.
Well, I'm not allowed to answer that question, but maybe.
I think we have public companies here. They do not disclose this information that easily. We can talk about this during the social networking event. We have some numbers in mind.
Thank you for presentation. My question during the acquisition, how you become more adaptable to changes, more agile, because you know everyone talking we're agile, like Moldavian telco, Moldavian banking, we're doing agile. So let's talk about being agile, not doing agile. Thank you.
I have a good answer for that. Actually, it's a joke, by the way, but take it like a joke. The thing with agile is that during the acquisition, I think only agile people remain, and everybody else leaves.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
Yeah, I feel like it's also a challenge. So we know each other since I was agile coach and doing agile transformation and so on. And in fact, of course, what I've learned during all those years is that agility, of course, it's at the personal level first. It's at the team level, but it makes no sense if it doesn't reach the company level. And in fact, first of all, to be ready and to be open to be acquired or to acquire a company, already need a certain level of agility. You, as a manager, as a CEO, as a chairman, of course, so you should be agile to be able to kind of let it go, and maybe eventually it's your entire life invested here and the energy and everything. It's a lot of agility to, first of all, to start talking about it. And of course, it's a lot of agility when starting the integration process, because by default, both parts wouldn't keep the same way of working as before. They really want to learn, but usually the deal is done to learn and to do more business. So my response is like, agility now is more about making it happen from personal to business level.
Okay, so we have to wrap up. I will do this quickly. You could see we have very different use cases here. But all these stories are very much positive. So we could see there is a lot of advantage coming from the acquisition. A lot of value is created. It's very beneficial for the employees, for other stakeholders, including the owners who exit, of course. But also the silver line was the post-acquisition integration done right. Communication, transparency, engaging the employees so that you retain that value, you don't destroy the value, you generate those synergies. So thank you very much, everyone, for sharing your experience. Let's give a round of applause to our panelists. This is a complex topic. We had a lot of questions. I'm sure there are many more questions. So we'll stick around and yeah, you just can approach our panelists and discuss more of their secrets and know from their experience. Thank you very much.
Including how much money, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.